they're ramming down your throat. Now, we start today with the Times, and the Times are going with a story that's going to be emulated, I'm telling you, across pretty much all of the mainstream media today, because there has been a political event over the weekend that we will get to within the paper, but the Times are going with Zahawi axed as Sunak gets tough on standards. He should have been axed a year ago, as far as I'm concerned. More than a year ago. In fact, a couple of years ago, Zahawi should have been axed. How the hell this man is still in any kind of ministerial position, let alone the party chairman? I just don't know. Moving on then to the Daily Telegraph today, they're going with PM sacks Zahawi without a fair hearing. Huh? Zahawi was sacked because there was no other option. At this point, there was no other option but to sack him. The media pressure was too big, the public outcry was too big, the Twitter outcry was too big. He has sacked him to try and save his own skin, and I don't think it will save his skin. Looking at the current poll numbers, the Tories are projected to lose something like over 200 seats at the next election, with Rishi Sunak at the helm. Maybe it's time, Rishi. Maybe it's time to go. The Daily Mirror today, proudly calling themselves Newspaper of the Year, leading with Esther, who has had a shock cancer diagnosis. I believe she's 82 years of age. And she says, so many people have filled my life with fun, joy, and inspiration. I'm optimistic. And, you know, I don't think anybody should have to go through that. We've seen that in our family. We've seen what it does to people. And here at Chasing Dissent, we wish all the best. But, of course, the Mirror couldn't just go with that. So on the bottom half of the front page, of course, we're leading with this weekend story. Rotten to the core, Tories engulfed by sleaze. Sunak finally sacks Zahawi over tax scandal, but differing leader under fire. Well, you've got to remember, Sunak is an unelected prime minister. He wasn't elected by the public. He wasn't elected by the party members. He was installed. Party are not going to be able to win an election with this man at the helm. It's as simple as that. But what is the alternative? Bring back Boris? The Daily Express then. They're continuing with the Zahawi story, top right there. They're going with the Boris thing. This is another thing that's happened. Boris, Putin told me I could kill you in a minute. He didn't just tell him that, really. He said that he could pretty much destroy all of us in a minute. And he probably could. Because this is not the first time we've had this sort of threat from Russians. We had a Russian minister just a few months ago say that if nuclear war were to break out, first place we would bomb is London. We've heard this all before, so why the mainstream media are trying to bring it up as if it's something new? Fear? I don't know. On to the Metro then, and they're going with, he's not sorry at all. Shamed Zahawi sacked, but he's not so. What a play on words there, Metro. How original. Tory chairman axed for serious breach of ministerial rules. Blames the press. Yeah, I would pretty much say the press are probably responsible for a lot of things in this day and age. Well, the mainstream media anyway. But no, it's his tax dodging that's done this. His tax dodging. Mr. Zahawi should have been sacked. Should have been prosecuted, as far as I'm concerned, well over a year ago, when he stood there in Parliament on video and said, we will not be discriminating against a certain part of the population. It is wrong. It is discriminatory. That's not how we do things here in Britain. And then like a week later, oh yeah, we're just going to discriminate against them people. They can cough. Okay then, the I newspaper going with, Sunak allies blame Johnson for Tory sleaze after the PM sacks Zahawi. I don't think Boris Johnson is responsible for Nadeem Zahawi dodging millions of pounds of tax. I think Nadeem Zahawi is responsible for that, to be honest. They're also going with Wrexham denied Hollywood ending in FA Cup thriller. Ooh. Well,
Well, indeed.
good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon, Ben. How are you?
I like a little countdown.
Did you
I
like
do.
that?
I like a little countdown. I've got a little bit of a delay, so I'm watching it now. But the second I heard it, I was like, he's put on a countdown. I do.
I don't try. I don't try, mate.
I know you try, and you know what? Trying, you are very trying. Put it that way.
Yeah, I am.
Oh dear. So we might as well go straight into our preamble segment and the title of today's show, because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you just watched, if you were here for the first bit before the live show came in, you just watched a segment of today's Propaganda Watch, my 6-day-a-week show now, where I review the front pages and have a little rant. It's, 7 to 10 minutes long. It's harmless, right, John?
Yeah. Well, it's the mainstream media, basically.
It's me reading out what they're saying and then commenting on it.
Yeah.
Right? What did TikTok call it today? Today's episode's been banned from TikTok, by the way.
Oh, it's hateful behaviour.
Yep.
And violent extremism.
Violent extremism.
There you go, people. You've got it from the heart of the CCP. Our mainstream media is hateful behaviour and violent extremism.
So 2 points I have to make here. The video never went live, so I only uploaded it, and it never got to get in front of anybody's eyes. Okay. And it got hit with this. I hit the appeal button, and within 2 minutes max, the appeal had been rejected and had been upheld on these grounds.
Yeah. I think we need to do a bit of a dive into TikTok, because it is effectively, it's just a propaganda tool of the CCP, and its sole intention is to bring about the demise of Western civilization.
Well, I think in a roundabout fashion, you're absolutely right. And I certainly think it's a psyop, because we were discussing this earlier. We were talking, you can go watch women shake their ass, get their tits out, do whatever you want on there, right? You can watch people even assault people on there.
Yeah, but I mean, you can pretty much watch anything you want as long as it's not wholesome. It's not the real news, and that's pretty much it.
Degeneracy is allowed on TikTok.
Yeah, it is.
And that's by design. And this is why we call it a psyop, because we've said this before, but I think it bears repeating, that the TikTok that you see is not the TikTok that the Chinese see.
No, they don't get TikTok like that. What's it called? Baidu or something, is it? No. No, that's a search engine. Oh, they've got something else, but it's completely different. It's very wholesome. It encourages you to do your pre-morning workout before work. Encourage you to work hard and be a good student. I mean, it's completely different. It's you don't get any nonsense like half-clad, scantily clad girls doing shuffle dances and things like that. You don't get that kind of stuff.
No, you don't. And Natasha says,
not that I would know anything about that, because I don't use TikTok. I don't even have it on my phone. See, I use TikTok as a promotional tool for what we're doing. We got 8,000 subscribers on TikTok, for God's sake, right? Yeah.
We've got 8,000 subscribers over there. But I will say this, it's getting harder and harder to simply talk about the news, because this is not the first time this has happened. I mean, this is the first time this has happened for this reason, but this is not the first time we've had videos taken down from TikTok for simply talking about what's in the news.
Exactly.
And that leads into it. That makes it, in my opinion, and I think we're right in saying this, a psyop, because they don't want you seeing what's going on. They don't want you knowing honest opinions. They clearly don't care about the actual truth of a situation. They simply want you to watch the most degenerate shit that you can, and the most morally bankrupt shit that you can.
Yeah, and if you do allow your children to watch it, I would strongly suggest you maybe reconsider that, because
I would too.
It's not something that's appropriate.
I you know what? Normally I wouldn't even get into that kind of discussion, but I think in this case, John, I completely agree. My kids will be going nowhere near that, and hopefully by the time, and I'm not even for censorship, you know that, but I think this crap needs to go. I do. I think it needs to go. We will continue to post to it if we're allowed. I mean, I still don't understand what was hateful and what was violent extremism. And let me read this out. We do not allow dangerous individuals or organizations to use our platform to promote terrorism.
No, there you go. There you go. Straight enough. It's fair enough. You're bang to rights, mate.
Crime or other types of behavior.
You're caught bang to rights straight away. I mean, there's no point in going any further. It's a dangerous organization. That's us. We are a dangerous organization, and you better believe that, people, because we'll tell you the truth, and that makes us very, very dangerous.
We will indeed. And with that, John, let's get the TikToking out of the way and introduce today.
Welcome, one and all, to this one episode 194 of Chasing Dissent Live. With me, John, and with Ben. We come to you over the airwaves.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
Well, there you go.
And with that, if you haven't hit the like button, we'll send the boys round. It's as simple as that. If you're not subscribed, I've already got them on speed dial.
There's people not hit the like button, mate. There are people not hit the like button.
I know, the boys are on speed dial. Right, that's
Get
it.
them round.
I'm getting them round.
When I say tranny, I mean transit van.
Yes.
Nothing more sinister than a transit van.
That's just
with
just
blacked out
Scottish
windows.
enunciation.
With blacked out windows.
That's
We'll be
it.
turning up shortly.
I'll tell you what, they've done it. They've hit the like button. We can cancel the boys. It's all good.
Right, okay, cool.
It's all good.
Cool.
We can cancel the boys for now.
Cool. Shall we move on to the first story, old bean? Shall we?
I think we should.
Okay, Lady Susan Hussey is back in the fold. Interesting.
What, you mean the woman that was set up?
Yeah, and the one that Prince Charles and that, went overboard
King
on.
Charles.
Prince Charles. Sorry, the artist formerly known as Prince. And now known as King. Was overreacted. Yeah, overreacted, paid humble pie, and then just we'll just bring her back. Sweep it under the rug with all the other skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. We do have. I should point out to you that we do have 33 slides to get on.
Oh no, you bloody Mason!
33. So, shall we move on to the next? I mean, there's not much more we can say about that one, is there?
No, there's definitely not. No, let's move on to a tweet then from Suzanne Seddon, who says Ukrainian refugees are so we spoke about this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Go on, fill us in.
Well, we touched on this on Friday, but they are unhappy. They are unhappy. And they're not happy because there are too many Muslim. And this is a quote from a Ukrainian refugee, right?
This isn't us saying this.
And this isn't us. This is a quote from a mainstream media interview of a Ukrainian refugee that was living in Birmingham.
And he's no longer living in Birmingham, from what I understand.
Now they've been moved to a more rural location with more white people, apparently. Because, number one, too many Muslim. Number two, too many people with different skin colour.
Yep.
This person's like almost, I would say this is almost tantamount to the R word. Three, too much terrorism. Now, not quite sure what we mean there. When was the last terrorist attacked in Birmingham? Was it the IRA? No?
So, yeah, citation definitely needed on that one, I think.
Yeah, I need some clarification there on your definition of terrorism. And four, not enough whites. Now, this sounds like someone who's maybe not had the diversity training before they left Ukraine.
I just want to make a shout out to Dr. Shola, who was on Sky News this morning, race baiting. As I say race baiting, she's just an outright racist, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But if you are looking Dr. Scholar, please, if you are looking for your white supremacists that you see everywhere, perhaps this is where you look. Just an idea. Perhaps we found them, John. Do you think we found them?
Maybe we found them. What's this? What's Natasha saying? Do the eye thing.
I don't know.
What's the eye thing?
I don't know.
Do you do an eye thing?
This?
I don't know. The Jensen Button eyes. Anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, we better crack on because we've got loads to
Oh,
get
the symbolism!
That, that thing. Right, anyway, that was for the 33 slides. 33. Yes, yeah, right. Moving on. Yeah.
David Sachs.
Yeah, David Sachs.
Go on, tell me.
David here says that history proves that wars have a tendency to escalate out of control, and I think he's correct because it does tend to happen. So this is in response to this tweet about Iran being attacked by an undisclosed nation at the moment, but I think it's Israel. And apparently they're knocking out their drone factories. Because
Interesting.
where does Russia get its Shahed drone from?
Probably Iran. Yeah, I would say Iran.
Yeah. So so this guy's this guy's all gung ho about, it seems Russia's drone supplier to attack Ukraine maybe going out of business. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So it's okay to bomb a sovereign nation who actually is only selling equipment, right?
Because they're selling equipment to the bad man.
But hold on a minute, this is a sovereign nation that.
But they're selling equipment to the bad man.
But we're selling equipment. No, we're not even selling equipment. We're giving equipment away to the other bad man. I mean, it's ridiculous. It seems to be that unless you are the USA or Israel, you can't attack another nation without you being the spawn of the devil. That's what it is, because only the US and its little brother Israel, but only the US has the authority to attack another nation without bringing down the condemnation of the entire world upon it.
Yes, John.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes,
Sorry.
John.
Rant
The
over.
bad man.
Bad man. I mean,
Bad
they're
man,
all
John.
bad men. They're all bad men.
Well, as we always say, we don't trust a single world leader here because they are all out to feather their own nest and control their population.
Oh, what's that you've got in your hand, Ben?
I've seen your next slide. Are you about to friggin', I'm trying not to swear, you about to friggin' patronise me, are you?
I'm not patronising anyone. I was just asking what you had in your hand there. So apparently, e-cigarettes have been shown to be more harmful to your lungs than smoking regular cigarettes. What?
Yeah, but that is the express.
Yeah, I know.
However, if true,
However,
if true, I'll be back on the fags tomorrow's show then, shall I? Back on the smokes.
oh, that's up to you. It's entirely up to you, mate.
Actually, to be fair, I will say, this is just my own personal experience from moving to cigarettes to vaping. I do breathe better. First of all, I breathe better, I feel better, and I can taste my food again.
Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah,
there are benefits, I would say.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, from the technical point of view, I think there are drawbacks from making your lungs persistently wet. They talk about this thing called popcorn lung as well.
Yeah.
So there's obviously going to be drawbacks because you're not breathing in a dry smoke. You're breathing in a wet, humid,
A wet vapor.
vapor, right? So either way, I don't think either option is particularly good for you.
But
If you've still got nicotine in, the device, whether it be a vape or a cigarette, then that's the worst thing that you could do for yourself, because nicotine is a horrible drug. It's a vasoconstrictor, and that's why you end up dying from, blood clots and get arms and legs amputated and, end up with diabetes and things because, nicotine is just a horrible, horrible drug.
And Natasha says in the chat, and you don't smell like an ashtray. And I'd like to thank Natasha because actually once she gave me a pack of cigarettes out on a protest so that she didn't smoke. And really saved my day there. I remember that. I remember that.
Saved your day.
I tell you what, as a back then 40 to 60 a day smoker,
yeah,
it did save my day, and that's what I've come down from. At least 20 to 40 cigarettes a day, sometimes 40 to 60 if I'm out doing something on a protest. So in that respect, I feel a lot better. Good. I must say.
I'm pleased. I am pleased.
And Natasha also says, I don't get kids starting vaping with nicotine when they can get free from nicotine ones. I don't get kids starting vaping at all, other than to look cool to their mates.
Well, why would kids smoke other than to look cool for their mates?
Good point. Good point. I mean, I was young when I first started smoking.
And why did you start?
Probably because I was just in households full of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I was in households full of it as well, and I've never smoked in my life. Because of that,
John.
Because of that.
Good for you, John.
Stand it.
Fair enough. Anyway, everyone I don't agree with is a Russian bot.
Indeed, they are. It's always Russia that's to blame, isn't it?
Are they?
Yeah, well, of course they are. I mean, it's always Russia. Everyone I don't agree with is a Russian bot.
Mm-hmm.
So that you've heard of this Hamilton 68 thing.
Yeah, it's been going... Well, Hamilton 68 was essentially the online dashboard used by the global mainstream media to accuse people of being Russian... Not just accuse people of being Russian bots, but to accuse Russia of planting stories and accuse Russia of disinformation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't true, was it, John?
No, it was completely made up. It just wasn't. It wasn't not true. It was just completely made up, and it was adopted by everyone from the New York Times down. I mean, no one questioned it at all. It was absolutely ridiculous.
It was completely made up, and I mean, they were old Holborn, a Twitter account, Holborn Love. Holborn was on this. Yeah, I know he is. But he was on this.
Yeah, I know.
He was on this as a Russian asset or a Russian bot.
Yeah.
And probably anyone, you were probably on it.
Probably.
If you tweeted anything that didn't agree with the anti-Russia narrative.
Yeah, but Old Holborn was a Russian bot,
list.
wasn't he? Old Holborn was he went a bit awry towards the end.
I won't speak ill of the dead, John.
Why? Why won't you? I just call it as it is. If they're alive or dead, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, with this situation, I simply don't know.
Nobody seems to apply that to Adolf.
Because because people also seem to forget that
or Stalin
I was kind of out of the Twitter ecosystem for quite a bit there. 11 months out of the main ecosystem, not really following these people anymore. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah, okay. Right, so speaking of, the Russian bot system, so that they burned a Koran in Sweden outside.
I didn't. But...
Right, so they burned a Koran in Sweden outside the Turkish embassy because, they were protesting against the Turks.
Mm.
And the Prime Minister of Finland, who's known...
the Foreign Minister.
No, the Prime Minister of Finland actually says it as well, but who's known to get into this. So Finland have said Russia may be involved in the Quran burning. Yeah. Those look like Russians, don't they?
The Batman!
But the best thing there is, in that photograph, they're actually burning a Danish flag, not a Swedish one. It's like a comedy of errors all round.
Oh Oh dear, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you are enjoying the show, then don't forget to give a like. Don't forget to do that. And if you feel like supporting us even further, you can do so at patreon.com/Chasing Dissent or indeed Ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent. But the most important thing you can do right now is like, subscribe, and hit that share button.
Share.
John? Sharing is the most important.
Well, I mean, here's a tweet from someone I've not actually seen for ages.
George Monbiot.
I've always liked George Monbiot's tweets, mainly because they're usually pathetic and easy prey for a laugh. But look at this. How carelessly we treat the soil, the fragile, irreplaceable ecosystem on which our survival depends. Okay,
Sure.
It's rained a bit. It's going to get muddy. Again, it'll dry out and it'll be... I mean, it's soil. I mean, for God's sake, George, get a grip. How are you meant to plough a field if you don't put a tractor through the mud?
Well, exactly. You're exactly right, and George is an idiot.
George is an idiot.
How do these idiots and morons obtain such big platforms?
I mean, how do we not? This is the part I don't understand. Why are we such in the doldrums and in the sleepy backwaters of YouTube and Rumble and places like that? We just kind of inhabit. We're like the little tiny fish that just sneak around the reeds, trying to stay away from the big bad pike.
Yeah, I'd
Do
say
you like that fishing analogy?
I'd say we're even smaller than that, right? Because I got my son some sea monkeys for Christmas. Have you seen those things? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
We're like the little sea monkeys of the YouTube. That's what we are.
brine shrimp. So we could be the little sea monkeys, the plankton of YouTube.
So hit that bloody share button.
Just scrabbling about blindly in the dark without flagella. Just reaching out to touch and feel things. No, sorry, that was Prince Sandra. I've gone off on a tangent.
Anyway.
That's right. Yeah, carrying on. Right. So this is some of our councils.
Yes, what are they doing? What are these councils
This is
doing,
just
John?
some of them, I think. These councils have signed up for the 15-minute cities thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'd like to draw your attention to the council down near the bottom of the first column, third from the bottom, called East Ayrshire Council.
That's you, isn't it?
No, it's not. But I know East Ayrshire, because I used to work for South Ayrshire, but East Ayrshire is a council down south of Glasgow.
Mm-hmm.
It has a few towns in it, and the biggest town's called Kilmarnock. It's not a city, right?
Yep.
You may have heard of Kilmarnock because apparently they're world famous for their pies.
Wow.
and
World famous pies.
and that's about it. So Kilmarnock has a population of around 60 to 70,000 at last count. You can drive through Kilmarnock, top to bottom or east to west, in less than 15 minutes. How the fuck are you going to make it a 15-minute city?
Well, John. There's another one on there. I believe Lewis District Council is on there. Is it not?
There wasn't any L's on that list, so I think it might be incomplete. But it gives you a flavour.
I believe Lewis Council was on another list that I saw.
Yeah.
And Lewis is a pretty small historic town that's got a prison, and you can drive side to side in about 8 minutes.
Yeah. So I mean, the whole thing is not about. It's not about.
It's not about making your life easier.
No, it's
about
about
controlling you.
control.
And this is far worse for you than the poll tax ever would have been. Just remember that.
You know what? And this might be controversial. Right?
Oh, I like controversy, John.
But what was wrong with the poll tax?
People didn't want to pay extra money.
No. It wasn't that people didn't want to pay it. It was people who hadn't had to pay before didn't want to pay it. Because if you lived with your mum and dad, right, your house got taxed. Okay? So say you had 2 adult children with you, living with you. That's 4 adults in that house. And you paid a flat fee. Right?
Right.
Now the poll tax made it that you paid a fee for each person, for each adult person that lived in that house.
Mm-hmm.
Which meant if you had 4 people living in that house, and maybe your neighbour next door had lost his wife and was in his dotage and was just seeing out his retirement, right? And
Right.
was only himself, he paid a fee for 1 person. Same
Okay.
size of house. But it's not the house that produces the waste. It's not the house that produces the demands on the ecosystem. It's not the house that produces, the requirements for the police and the health service. It's the people. So they were charging you per head, and yet people thought that was unfair.
John, I can give you a 3-word answer to what was wrong with the poll tax.
Margaret Thatcher.
No, that's a 2-word answer.
Oh,
I can give
okay.
you a 3-word answer.
Go on.
Taxation is theft.
Yeah, okay, but you're still paying taxation. You're still paying council tax. And it's the same thing, right? It's just, again, you're back to the flat fee if you've got more than 2 people living in a house. Which means if you ram your house full of people, you're working the system.
Well, yeah, like Natasha says, she'd have been screwed. I believe they have 8 kids.
Well, there you go. Well, yeah, only if they continued living with you after they were of votable age or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, do they still live with you? And
I think they
then,
do.
You know what? They should pay because they produce the fucking waste.
Stop swearing!
Well, just don't have a go at me because you are the worst at it. But they should pay because 8 people living in a house is going to produce and use a lot more resources than a house that only has 2. So I don't see I never saw the problem with it. And there isn't a problem, but the biggest problem was the 2-word answer. Margaret Thatcher proposed it, right? And that was the problem. And secondly, people that didn't have to pay suddenly had to pay.
Moving on to a tweet from Unity News Network, Sunak said in his sacking letter to Zahawi, "It is with pride we have been able to draw on the services of a Kurdish-born Iraqi refugee at the highest levels of UK government, which the people have rightly valued."
I'm sorry. Does he live in a... Oh, yes, he does. I've just answered my own question. He lives in a different universe from the rest of us. Yeah, this guy is so divorced from reality, it's unbelievable. And have you noticed he can't speak to people as if they're equals or normal or even adults? He treats everyone as if they're a 3-year-old child.
Yeah.
I find him a loathsome individual. I just can't stomach him at all. I can't listen to him. I try and listen to his stuff because I'm supposed to report on it, and I find me going... It just makes my skin crawl.
You know what? I agree.
Just don't like him at all. He's
I don't
a horrible,
like any of
horrible
them.
man.
I don't like any of them.
Horrible man.
I think they're all slippery, slimy, sleazy, and I'm not just talking about the Tories here, because for some reason, do you know why I think we are in the right place? Because people will have a go at us for having a go at Labour, and people will have a go at us for having a go at the Tories.
Yeah,
we're equal opportunists here, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, right. Let's be
They're
honest.
all assholes.
Let's be honest. Is there a politician in that house that you could really support?
No.
I can't think of one.
Not even Andrew Bridgen. I'm
no,
sorry.
I mean, that guy's he's an idiot. He really is. He should be on a tractor somewhere, And no disrespect to farmers, right? The best you could hope for him would be that he could plough a straight furrow.
Easy E, True Self-Audience says Rebecca Wrong Daily or Long Bailey. I call her Rebecca Wrong Daily. She's awful. I mean,
just don't sugarcoat it, mate.
He
tell it.
He says my local MP, she's a good one, but she's a far leftist idiot. Let's just call it what it is. Now, I'm not, like I say, I'm an equal opportunist here, and I think they're all assholes.
Well, they are.
All they want to do, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is feather their own nest. And, John?
Control the people.
Feather their own nest.
Control the people.
One more time. Feather their own nest.
Control the people.
There we go. That is a politician in this day and age. And I'm sorry we have to keep giving that lesson, but you know, it is what it is.
That's
On
what
to
it
a
is.
tweet from James Melville. Carol Vorder, she's going in, isn't she, old wear a mask alone in my car, Carol?
Well, you know what? Even a broken watch is right twice a day if it's an
Exactly
if
right,
it's an analog
John.
watch. But you know, yeah, she's made mistakes. We all have.
Mm-hmm.
We're not forgiven. We're not forgetting, right?
Yeah.
But she's right. She is right.
Well, she is right. How much money does Rishi Sunak make from Moderna?
Yeah.
It's a very good question, and one he's refusing to answer.
And he did start a hedge fund.
Yeah.
That
Isn't his
is-
wife like a billionaire?
Yeah, but he started a hedge fund that's invested in Moderna.
Yes.
That's you're getting
Is that not insider trading?
Who signed the contracts? You know, who'd come up with the deals? Yes, it's very much insider trading, I think.
Feels
Or
like
at the very
insider
least, there is a marked conflict of interest here.
I'd say you're absolutely right. Yeah.
You know, and it's not acceptable. It is not acceptable.
Look, Easy E True Soul Fordian says, I got told. I'm afraid.
Well, look, mate. If you were on, we could have a discussion about it, and I'm sure you've got valid points, right?
Yeah,
and I'm
of
sure
course.
that maybe she does good in some area, but ultimately they're all as bad as each other.
Yeah,
They really
absolutely.
are, because ultimately, once you get into that environment, you get corrupted because, as they say, you know, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Because
And,
that's what happens.
Trudy's got a very good comment there. It's a valid input to the conversation when it comes to Vorderman. She says, great boobs.
I used to think Carol Vorderman was a kind of intelligent, you know,
I used
thinking
to
man's crumpet.
love that woman.
But what's she done? I mean, she's gone very Madonna-esque, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And,
I'll tell you
and
what,
it's like, grow old gracefully, for God's sake.
I
No.
used to watch her do
Like
maths.
me,
and think,
grow old gracefully.
honestly, I used to watch Carol do maths and think, I'm going to marry that woman. Wouldn't want to marry her now.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Right. So, speaking of the old Pfizer and that mob, right?
Yeah.
So we have a bit of a situation here because Thailand, right? Who went all in? Who went all in on the stuff? You know, got to be treated to visit. You know, everybody needs to get it. You know, so suddenly a member of the Thai royal family, and let's cut to the chase here. When it comes to the Thai royal family, you don't fuck with them, or you disappear. That's what happens. You know, it's like Hillary Clinton, except they don't hide it.
Yeah.
So this young lady who collapsed 23 days after being treated for something, and you know, it's almost certainly a coincidence, a complete and utter
most
coincidence,
definitely.
complete and utter coincidence. Doctors obviously still baffled why she's still in a coma, and the royal family have now come out and said that the purported diagnosis of a bacterial infection is ridiculous, and she's most likely the victim of something. Now, that doesn't bode well for the companies involved. So I think we'll watch this space and see what happens. But the Thais tend to hold a grudge, and they don't like foreigners anyway. You know?
Well, I've actually got a personal story. I can tell you.
Ben,
My
give us
dad's
your personal story.
my
Sorry?
dad's best friend. Right?
He bought,
My dad's best friend.
bought
Vince.
a.
No, he's dead.
Oh right, okay.
They killed him
Oh, did they?
in Thailand. They killed him.
And they put him in prison.
No, they killed him. They just flat out murdered him.
You know, I remember reading about Thailand quite some time ago, and it always stuck with me. And I've backed up the initial assertions in the first article I read about it. And it's like, they will be nice to you to your face because they want your money. But basically you are Farang, which is foreigner, right? And you will never be part of them. And if you marry one, then you're a mug.
Well, yeah. I'm still big screen for everybody, so...
Yeah, you are. That's because sometimes I get carried away, and you used to do this in the early days as well. So,
no, absolutely fine. But yeah, my dad's best friend, he turned up at my dad's house, half dead. Right? We got him completely back to health. We got him stable. We got him helped get him a house. He went back to Thailand. He was killed almost immediately.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That is sick.
And then his so-called partner contacts my dad to this day to try and get access to Vince's bank account.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Speaking of partners, that's a shocker, Renee. No, I mean she wasn't a young woman, but she was in.
No, she wasn't.
In good health. Well, having said that, she wasn't that bloody old. She was only 66, and that's not old.
Well, my nan's 77.
Yeah, I mean, what's the life expectancy for a woman in the UK? Is it not like 80, 81, 82?
It's got to be 80-something.
Yeah, so that means that the average life expectancy is 82, right? That means a lot of people live beyond 80, and some will die before 80, you know. So, yeah, she's obviously, unfortunately, one of the ones that just suddenly died without any known reason. Baffled.
Yeah. So we're not going to make any assertions as to what may or may not have done this, and I don't even press the button because we just don't know.
No, we don't. I mean, we don't have a clue. I'm just pointing out. I'm just reporting the news on this occasion. That's what happens.
So, despite the fact he is an absolute arsehole, and I will preface this with that, my heart goes out to you, Mark.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Speaking about being baffled.
Only 3%.
Only 3. I think this means all. All treatments, not just specific ones. But Canadians really don't. They aren't really up to date on these things, are they? And maybe with good reason.
Well, aren't a lot of Canadians derived from the French?
Yes.
And what do you say about the French?
Well, the French are a strange. You see, when I moved to France, I moved there deliberately, right? Before all this nonsense, before they'd even come out with one, I moved to France because I picked France for one reason. Because France is the most vaccine-resistant country in Europe.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
And
the Canadians are derived a lot, not all, but a lot derived from the French.
Yeah, they are. They are indeed.
Should we move on?
Yeah, we better. Right, Scott Adams really is a troll. But actually, more importantly, it's not so much the Scott Adams thing. It's that Elon Musk just doesn't have a clue when it comes to irony or people trolling him or anything. He's obviously completely on the spectrum. Don't you think?
100%.
I mean, because there's Scott Adams. I'm just finding out today, thanks to dozens of people informing me, that the COVID shots do not stop transmission. Did the rest of you already know that? I am so dumb. And Elon replies to him as if it's real. Yes, but this was not disclosed to the public for a long time after the government and vaccine makers knew. Not cool. Yeah, okay, you're right, Elon, but Adams is a troll. The guy is a troll. Stop engaging with them. Good grief.
I can say no more on the subject.
What would you say?
I just think Scott Adams... I don't know what to say about the man because he was the biggest bedwetter going, and that wasn't trolling.
And
that was He was pissing. He was quite literally pissing the bed every single night.
You know what? I think he still is, mate.
Metaphorically.
I think he still is. I think he's scared shitless, and that's why he keeps coming out with this stuff. Because I think he knows.
Do you think he's now scared on the other foot?
He's scared that. Yeah, he's scared shitless
That he's
something's
made a
going to
mistake.
happen to him. Yeah, he's scared shitless. He's made a mistake, and something's going to happen to him.
That's what I think is going on as well.
Yeah.
Because
that's why he keeps trying to deflect.
This is his cope, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
This is his cope.
Exactly it.
And before we move on,
sorry.
Hello, I'm seeing some new faces in the chat today. Thank you for coming along. And if you're enjoying it, then please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button if you haven't done. We would truly, truly appreciate it. And we're live here every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 2 p.m. and Fridays at 9 p.m. Fridays is a blast, though, isn't it, John?
Yes, Fridays is a blast. Fridays easily the best show of the week. Even
Yeah,
if I do say so myself.
we're not discounting these shows because these shows are great too.
Oh,
but...
don't get me wrong, people. I don't just mean for us. I mean, it's easily the best show of the week. You know, regardless of which platform or who you're watching.
Yeah.
Come and watch us.
Moving on to the tapes.
Hello. Right, okay, so people are actually starting to pick up on this, like Mario here and others.
Mm.
And there's been quite a lot of, have you seen the interviews among Romanians and things saying, well, of course Romania is very corrupt, that's why I moved to England, because I wouldn't try any of my scams in Romania.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we spoke about this with his neighbour coming out and saying about the girls and things. And
yeah, I saw an interview today actually before the show. I watched an interview with one of the named girls.
Oh right, yeah, and she's
saying I'm not a victim.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not a victim, and so I'm not going to say whether or not legally Andrew Tate is guilty. I will continue down the line of Andrew Tate is an arsehole.
Well,
right?
I mean, before they even got arrested, we said he was an arsehole, but
yeah,
that doesn't make some of the stuff he's saying wrong.
No, well, absolutely not. You're absolutely right. A lot of the stuff that he says is true.
And it doesn't necessarily mean he should be in jail right now.
No, you're absolutely right once again. But they had another appeal, didn't they? And it's been delayed. The decision has been delayed as to whether or not they can go under house arrest. So even if they were to be let out of prison, they would go under house arrest.
Yeah, but I mean,
but like Mario says here, and I don't really trust Mario as a source, by the way.
No, okay, but he's not giving a source here. What he's doing is he's giving an opinion.
Yeah,
right. But I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I would say that he's basically just articulating what I would see and say, because based on the evidence that we're collating, then we're not necessarily convinced that the Tates are actually guilty of what they've so far been accused of.
No, we're not convinced of that. And we have to sit here and say innocent till proven guilty. And if a massive trove of evidence comes out that says Andrew and Tristan Tate are these human traffickers, are these this, that, and the other, fine, right? But so far, the prosecutors have not showed us one single shred of evidence, and we have to look at that. I mean, even the alleged victim, who's named as one of the six, she says they've got no evidence. No,
wasn't
she said that. But she's also saying that they've showed her nothing.
Yeah, I know.
And the Tate's lawyers are saying they've got nothing.
One of the other girls went further. She said that she'd written them a statement and they kept giving it back to her and telling her to rewrite it. And
yes,
she said, no, that's
the
statement.
Same girl.
That's what happened.
Yeah, this is the same girl. And every time she tries to get a hold of the prosecutors to find out what's going on, they won't tell her anything.
Yeah.
And they keep fobbing her off and telling her, you're a victim, you're a victim, you're a victim.
I'm not. No, I'll decide if I'm a victim or not, mate. I'll decide.
And Easy-E, True Soulfordian, I 100% agree with that assertion that you've put in the chat. I won't speak it out loud. But you have to wonder whether or not they should be in prison.
They shouldn't. Probably.
Well, no, is being a so-called misogynist a crime? No, it shouldn't be. Should so-called what people deem to be hate speech a crime? No, it shouldn't be. Because hate speech can be deemed by anybody.
In the world of Demolition Man, which we are rapidly approaching,
you have been fined one credit for violation of...
Yeah, it will be a crime. Yeah.
Let's move on anyway.
Speaking of crimes, this guy is a criminal. Okay, now this man, no, he's not, because his name's now Tiffany. Okay,
That's a Tiffany.
that's Tiffany.
I would never have called that to be Tiffany.
That's Tiffany.
Right?
The public were. This is Scotland. Okay. The public were cleared from the courtroom amid fears that the accused, who has been known to bite open his own veins and spray blood at people, would present a clear danger to them.
And he wants to be moved to a woman's prison, doesn't he?
Oh, he is. He's serving his hard time in a woman's prison because that's Tiffany. Shirtless prisoner hurls abuse at sheriff as she is jailed.
Has Tiffany got her boobs out there then?
Oh yeah, I mean that's a rather gratuitous photograph, isn't it?
I know. I'm just saying this probably shouldn't be on Twitter. This is a woman with her boobs out, for God's sake. I mean,
you know
it's
what?
not,
Like, Scotland's just done.
the UK's done, mate.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Moving on, climate change.
Oh, sorry, they did not move on. Now, I'd just like to draw this to your attention. This comes from Peter Clack.
Right?
Not our friend Latimer, but Latimer has had very similar stuff in the past. Peter Clack he seems to be a bit of an up-and-comer, well, certainly in the circles in which I frequent. But he's just pointing out that this is the history of the Earth as we kind of know it, right?
Yeah.
And the temperature.
Right.
And it's showing you what the temperature is right now in that little red circle, right? Okay. And where that temperature's been over the last thousands of millions of years.
Look, listen. Greta and her crew are a cult. They have no idea what they're talking about. The people that they quote as so-called scientists come from a group of scientists who have made predictions over the last 5 decades that have been catastrophically wrong. I'm not just talking a little bit wrong, but catastrophically wrong. And we should just pay these people no attention, because if you start believing everything they tell you, your life is going to be worth nothing. To get to net zero, you lose everything. And
race to the bottom.
Race to the bottom.
That's it.
So Lauren says, hi there, Lauren. Says, how long will it be until climate change can officially be recorded as a cause of death?
Oh, no, I think we're already there.
I think we're already there as well. I think we're already there.
What happened?
What did happen?
Well, you know what? And I didn't put this in the funny section deliberately, because this isn't funny.
It's not funny.
This is someone having a mental breakdown in public and in the media.
I'm half there with you, but I'm also okay, because let me say this. Sam Smith is very talented. Mm-hmm. He's very talented.
Yeah.
He's a great singer, he's a great musician, and he used to be able to get to #1 off his talent alone. Right?
Uh-huh.
He hasn't been able to do that for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think his record label are partly responsible for this. I think
you know what? I can't take that, because no matter how much I was getting pressured, I wouldn't be doing that unless I was severely mentally unstable.
What you've got to remember is this, right? Adam says it's the Hollywood effect, and Hollywood keep doing things in order to create a controversy.
Yeah, but
like race swapping the Little Mermaid.
Right, okay, I know that, but it's the people that stand up against Hollywood that make the difference. It's the people like, it's the people like Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
It's people like who's the other guy? Woody Harrelson. Yeah.
But I think whilst Sam has equal blame in this,
Yeah.
And even quite a lot of the blame, I think his record label are somewhat to do with this. They said, if you do this, you're going to get so much controversy. You're definitely going to get to number one. And I think that's partly what's happened here. Now, Easy E says, Sam Smith, Sonia Poulton has shed light on this dark individual. The video of a kid being trafficked to the devil, alarm bells. Yeah, you know, I think, John, you're partly right. I think the man's having a mental breakdown. But secondly, I think he's being used.
Yeah, well, I think there's probably a bit of both sides, mate. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
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 Remember, he doesn't own himself.
No,
his record label own him.
None of these people do, does he?
No, he doesn't own himself. He does what his record label tells him to do.
Well, here's an interesting aside. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Woody Harrelson's dad has a connection to the JFK assassination. His dad was a hitman, right?
Yeah.
Okay. For the CIA.
Yes.
Right. Anyway, moving on.
Nigeria limits cash withdrawals to $45 per day in central bank digital currency, digital banking push. Don't let them do this to you.
Coming to a town near you.
Don't let them do this to you. Don't let them take your cash. Because that's it.
They will.
It's once again a race to the bottom. Because then what they can do is they can start allowing you to buy things based upon your carbon footprint.
Yeah.
And they will.
Yeah.
If you let these people control you, has the last 3 years not taught people that they will control you? They will.
If history teaches us anything, right?
Yeah.
Is the fact that we do not learn from history.
Exactly. Oh God.
In fact, I think it's time for an intermission. So, Parliament in the UK was initiated in the year of our Lord 1707. Okay, so that's 315 years, 16 years since Parliament was initiated. Now, people haven't changed that much, and in real terms, things haven't changed that much. So, my question in this case, because it's not just a thought, but it's also a question, is why? Why do we have to have so many new laws, so many more laws, so many laws on an almost daily basis now to govern us, when really we're no different from what we were 300 years ago?
I do have an answer for you, John.
Go on.
Control.
Feather their own nest, control the population. That's what the laws are for.
One more time, folks. Feather their nest.
Control the population.
Feather their nest.
Control the people.
Say it with us. One more time. Feather their nest.
Control the people.
Population.
There we go.
There we go.
Yes, we should have listened to Orwell.
Carl Nixon, South Africa's Ramaphosa blames NATO for Russia's war in Ukraine. I think the less said about that, the better.
Well, I think it's quite... This is... Oh. One, he may have a point.
Right? He very much probably has a point, but...
Secondly, it's quite evident that BRICS are sticking together, aren't they?
Yes.
But did you see what Russia and Iran have done?
Do tell.
They've linked up their banks out with the SWIFT
fantastic.
system, right? So Russia and Iran's banks are now linked outside the SWIFT system. So what does that mean? That means you can't impose sanctions on Iran or Russia amongst themselves because they can transfer, money without going through SWIFT. So sanctions and that, and if they've done it, you know what's next?
Evolving.
China.
Yep.
Brazil, South Africa, probably India as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sanctions? What sanctions?
what people don't seem to realize is that these so-called sanctions have only strengthened Russia.
And
right?
hurt us.
Well, yeah, they hurt us badly. They've hurt you and me badly.
Yeah.
They've hurt you people watching this badly. Look at your energy prices, right? Now, there is an element of these sanctions being to blame for that. Also, there's an element of a massive element of freaking profiteering. But we're the ones getting hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether or not Ramaphosa has a point. He probably does, right? And I'm not going to publicly take a side in this at all. I think we are filthy fence sitters, and we once again we look at the leaders of these countries. They like to feather their nest, control the population.
Yep,
doesn't matter. They're all bad. People who want power should be nowhere near it. As simple as that.
You know my thoughts on this. You know my thoughts on this.
Yep, met applicants functionally illiterate in English, accepted in bid to improve diversity. Well, how are they meant to write a report?
Well, my first question is how does this go with the Equal Opportunities Act? How does that sit?
Look, you've got to understand.
No,
the Equal Opportunities Act
does
not apply to a well-educated white British man. It doesn't apply to them.
Yeah.
They are. That's why you hear these terms like positive discrimination. No such thing as positive discrimination. It's just discrimination. But this idea of improving diversity, do you see anyone other than sort of American Anglo-Western nations doing this? Do you see Japan going, here's what we need. We need a bunch of Brits in our police.
That's a good point. It's a good point, Ben, because someone said, why does Japanese society not have the crime rate and the amount of murders and people dying and all that and the gun problem that Western societies have? And it's quite simple. And you really need to look no further than Japan is not a diverse country.
Well, no, they're ethnically homogenous, aren't they? And they're very open about it, and they're very open about wanting to stay that way.
They don't even like Chinese people in Japan.
But my question is, why is that not racist? Yet, if a Western nation were to say, yeah, of course it is. But
inherently, everyone is racist. Inherently.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, let's face it. We are a tribal people, okay? We do best when we're in our own little tribes. Now, I'm not saying that tribe needs to be a particular colour or whatever, but we support our own tribe. Right? Yeah. And once you step outside that, you are effectively, you are racist a little bit, you know? If people don't fit in your tribe, then you really treat them with distrust and wariness and skepticism.
Hello, Ukrainian refugees. They're doing exactly that, right? They're doing exactly that. Yeah. But you know, I certainly see your point. I do. Yeah. I certainly see your point.
I think we use the term racism. I think too lightly these days.
I think the term tribalist is what you're leaning towards.
Yes, but the problem is that they've extended the definition of racism to cover everything, right? And they use the term, they just throw the term out loosely.
But the term has no meaning anymore.
Well, exactly, because it's a derogatory slur now, isn't it, really? I mean calling someone a racist is just a slur.
I mean, that's why, but also, you know, when you actually point out real racists, what real racists do, via the old technical definition of racism, is call you a racist to justify their racism. It's like the far left and the far right. Two cheeks of the same arse, absolutely meet in the middle, both a bunch of racist arseholes, right?
Moving on to the funnies.
Let's go.
Right, let's start. Now, believe it or not, this isn't the best one.
Right.
Right. So, Grange Park gossip. This was scooped off Facebook by someone, right? Poor woman. I understand this may not be a popular subject, so it's why I wish to remain anonymous. Does Wareham have any dogging spots? I would imagine the forest car parks are popular, but I've been driving around the last few months with no luck. Many thanks. And Laura Jane Rickwood replies, Linda Wellman, you haven't posted this anonymous, just so as you know.
Oh, Linda. Oh, Linda.
Dear, and I love to have seen what Linda's reply was.
Adam says he's made the same mistake many times. Good old Linda.
I guess it's a classic, isn't it? It's a classic.
You know what? If people want to go and fornicate in dogging
car
spots,
parks.
in car parks, as long as there are no kids about,
well,
you know,
groups
I think people have been. I think people have been doing this as long as we can drive cars.
Have
right?
you ever seen the Peter Kay thing? Where have you ever seen that Peter Kay thing with the
I can't
the girl?
stand Peter Kay.
Oh my god, it's so funny. But anyway, never mind. I'll move on. But anyone who's seen it knows what I mean.
Oh Jesus Christ!
In defense of Ukraine,
they've completely jumped the shark, haven't they? Completely and utterly jumped the bloody shark.
So I had to reply to this. I had to, right? Because they say commander of the first crew for Challenger 2 in the Ukrainian army, right?
Mm.
So I said, what are you saying? Your commander is going to be a pussy? They've really freaking lost it. It's the most. Have you seen?
Lost the plot.
Have you seen their body count? It's jumping up by 1,500, 2,000 every day now. It's the most ridiculous thing ever.
So they're killing thousands of people. Oh God, here we go. Look, here we go. We're moving on. What's Joe forgotten now?
I just put this picture up as if it's like, look at him. He looks like a 2-year-old that's been told off.
He looks like a man with dementia.
Yeah, he does.
Right?
He
looks like he is a man with dementia. Anybody looking at him, watching his actions, watching his inability to even stick to the auto cue and just go rambling off about bloody corn pop or kids stroking his legs, knows this, right? He's being used. He's a puppet.
Yeah, I know. And actually,
and his wife.
Oh, yeah, she's his handler.
Oh, absolutely.
But here's let me take this opportunity to have a pop at Megyn Kelly, right?
Go on, him.
Because she tweets out, Joe Biden was at some sort of football game and somebody said, oh, and they announced it, and then there's Dr. Joe Biden in the stands watching such and such, and she's going, for God's sake, she's not even a real doctor, get an MD. Now, hold on a minute, Megan.
She isn't a doctor.
Hold on. Yeah, but hold on a minute, Megan. MDs get called doctor as a courtesy. PhDs have earned it. So, Megan, you're completely wrong.
Moving on.
Yeah, let's move on.
So what's gone on here then, John?
Well, they're not giving up, are they? They are not giving up.
No.
So you know how La Rose Lane is the renaming of Black Boy Lane?
Yeah.
Well, they're just not giving up. And I applaud them. Because there's no reason to change the name of a historic street, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like that pub in Scotland. There was no reason to change the name of that pub, the one that was called the Black Bitch, because it was about a dog. And it's like what's her name the other day, Leanna Dowding or something. She was going on about her horses and called one of them her Black Beauty. And of course I could only reply one word to her, couldn't I? Racist. Right. So where are we now? Right. Now I had to put this in the funnies. Right. This is what you were banging on about this morning in the papers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is so the papers are saying, Putin threatened Boris.
Putin
So Putin threatens Boris with death. It didn't really work out like that, did it? I mean, if you actually listen to the interview and the way that Boris is talking about it, they were having a kind of, heads of state joke. Yeah, I could show you from Stuttgart, Mr. Johnston. That kind of thing. So the whole thing's ridiculous. It really is. But
it is, yeah.
Let's actually just put it in a little bit perspective.
Go on, put it into
He could.
And
It would take less than a minute.
I said that earlier on.
And
probably could.
What is it? There was reports today that some US general or something that said that Britain's no longer considered a major fighting force in the world, and I have to agree with them. Even if he didn't say it, I still have to agree with them, because how can you be when you have so little? You have so little in the way of men, equipment,
and as we found out via Big Brother Watch last night, our confirmation finally, they were just using army resources to spy on me.
Yeah.
To spy on you.
Yeah. And Peter Hitchens.
To spy on you.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, absolutely.
I'm telling you, that's why I was getting millions, and I mean millions of impressions a month. And I tweeted at Emma Kennedy.
I bet it was them.
Yeah,
you know what? Everybody's moaning about the lack of traction they're getting on Twitter now, and my first thought is people just aren't as interested.
Yeah.
So there'll be a tailing off, because if you were on Twitter, I mean, I've been on Twitter since 2009, and it comes and goes. Sometimes it's like, I mean, really, you can watch the dust devils blow through. It's the tumbleweed. It's that quiet. But so people are slacking off to a degree, but also you'll probably find a hell of a lot of that traffic was 77.
Well, yeah.
Or people like that.
Well, that I don't know if any of you do follow me on Twitter. If you don't, go follow me at Disabled Journo, and go follow John at The Collator. Maybe we should put our Twitter handles on the screen going forward, John, on the frames. Maybe not. But still, I was getting millions of impressions a month, and then all of a sudden, bam, banned. No reason.
Yeah. You bring up 77, and what does Adam do? Oh, conflict of interest. He's got to leave.
We've always suspected you, Adam. We've always suspected you. Right,
Indeed.
Let's move on to our last two. We got two more, and then we can let you go. This was fantastic. You need to post this publicly.
Oh, I've got a better video.
Okay.
I'm going to make a short about this.
Oh, please do.
Because this is when you actually see the video I've got, it's even better, right? But apart from that, animal rights protesters trespassed onto a duck farm, chained their necks to the slaughter line. Then suddenly the machine switched back on and started to move while they were still attached. And
you can hear this.
Oh my God, talk about panic.
Do you know what? I find it very hard to feel bad for people who have gone and broken in onto somebody else's property and started chaining themselves to their machinery.
Yeah.
I just find it hard.
I know.
I do. I find it, and I think they're all bloody idiots. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Sorry. That was my mistake. I flicked through the slides too quickly. I was getting carried away.
This... I shouldn't laugh.
What?
I shouldn't laugh.
The last one? Oh, no, it gets better. Let me explain it, because it gets even better, right?
Oh, my God.
Right, so... Gay baboon terrorizes villagers in South Africa, rapes 5 men.
Jesus Christ, right?
Okay, so apparently there's this large male baboon raping men.
Yep.
Now, it goes on, though, to explain that for some obscure reason, so far it's only targeted gay men, right? And it doesn't do them any other harm than engage in sexual activity with them.
Do you think the men themselves might be soliciting the baboon?
I think this may well be consensual. Oh, you know what monkeys are like? They'll shag anything.
Oh, before.
I think that's a fitting end to the afternoon, isn't it?
And if you have enjoyed this show, I'm very pleased with the amount of likes we've got this afternoon. So thank you very much. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Please share. It's very important. And obviously, if you can afford it, we do have a Patreon and we do have a Ko-fi. So it's patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or indeed Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent. We will be back here Wednesday at 2 p.m. I will be back every morning with Propaganda Watch. We'll take a look at the front pages together. And with that, John, you'll be doing some other stuff this week as well, won't you?
Yeah, of course I will. Of course I will.
Say goodbye to these wonderful, wonderful people.
Goodbye, you wonderful, wonderful people. It's been a pleasure for you to attend this episode 194 of Chasing Dissent Live with John and Ben. It's been great. For you.
Hey, you!
Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.